Hey everyone, the RV industry is now caught in the crossfire, a trade war between Canada and the United States. Two nations that might as well be siblings, having spent centuries with our supply chains, our economies, and our cultures deeply intertwined. Both countries even recognize Ben Franklin as the father of their postal systems. We stood shoulder to shoulder from World War I, World War II, through Afghanistan. Our electrical grids, gas pipelines, and our oil industries overlap in ways that people don't even realize. But now, all of that might be changing. And whether or not you realize it, these shifts could have a major impact on the world of RVing. Now, you might be thinking, RVing, really? Is it even that big of a deal? But here's the thing, RVing isn't just about hitting the open road. It's about families, freedom, and a lifestyle that millions of Americans and Canadians who cherish recreating together, getting the most quality family time that they can get. So these changes, they hit close to home. And for Americans and Canadians alike, RVing is one of those rare spaces where politics fades away into the background. No matter what the politicians are doing, one thing that remains the same is that we're all part of the same RVing family. Now, we all know that this is changing day to day, and by the time this video comes out and a week later, it could very well be out of date. But if tariffs are delayed, adjusted, or even completely changed, the reality is the damage has already been done. The sentiment amongst Canadian RV dealers at a recent RV show in London, Ontario, was crystal clear. If these proposed tariffs go through, most of them are ready to cancel all of their American orders on the spot. Now, why? It's because they're bracing for the backlash from the Canadian customers who don't want to spend their money south of the border. It's not just speculation, it's a shift in mindset that's already happening.
For ourselves, we canceled $3 million in orders. Lots of dealers were similar.
We've told our manufacturers, if the tariffs come in, don't ship us any product that the tariffs apply. Our dollar's bad enough. Unfortunately, there's not enough Canadian product, 5% of the whole industry across Canada.
On the other side of the threat, 12% of U.S.-built RVs are shipped to Canada.
You can't take 12% of sales away from any company and not go from a profit to a loss position. So there was going to be a lot of hurt everywhere.
Now, to be clear, I am not here to debate whether tariffs should or shouldn't exist, nor am I diving into the politics of why they're being put in place. But what I am here to do is to be pragmatic and help you figure out how to navigate this evolving landscape, whether you're in the market for a new RV or just trying to understand the bigger picture of what's happening to the RV market. One thing is obvious, Canadians are making a conscious effort to support Canadian-made products. And on the flip side, the U.S. market is leaning heavily towards American-made goods, but it's not as simple as just buying local. The reality is our supply chains are deeply interconnected. From parts and manufacturing to dealerships and service networks, the RV industry doesn't operate in a vacuum. So even if buyers want to stick to their homegrown options, it may not be as straightforward as they think. Beyond that, there's also a noticeable shift in where people are choosing to travel for recreation. A lot of Canadians are opting to stay within their own borders this summer rather than crossing into the US. And while that's partly fueled by frustration over this trade war, the biggest factor is currency exchange. Right now, the Canadian dollar is worth about 68 to 70 cents against the US dollar, which means every trip south is significantly more expensive for Canadians. But for Americans, well, the opposite is true. Canada is looking like an absolute bargain to come vacation in right now, and it's making it a prime destination for travelers looking to stretch their dollar further. I have certainly seen more American license plates up here lately than I used to. Canada is an absolute bargain for Americans right now, making it a prime destination for travelers looking to stretch their RV dollars further. Except for gas. Gas is still pricey up here, even if you're paying with American dollars. But let's bring it back. Whether you're Canadian or American, if you're looking to buy an RV in the near future, in this uncertain market, you might feel a little overwhelmed. So what do? How do you make sure you're getting the right RV that's on the right side of the border for you? And do you want to reach across the border to get your RV? Look, if tariffs go fully in place in both directions, RVs will be going up in price. And more importantly, RVs that are coming across the border will likely be even further higher in price. This may very well affect your decision, but in the end, when you're buying an RV, it's always something you practically shouldn't even be spending money on. Meaning it's a depreciating asset that's very expensive, that's going to depreciate very quickly. And I think what some who don't buy RVs might look at it as saying, hey, you're pretty much blowing your money anyway. So blowing a little bit more on the one you really want may be important to you. So if you find that the RV you want and have always wanted is now 20% higher, but you still want it, well, that's the way the market works. Go buy it. Enjoy yourself. However, you might want to hedge the market or make sure that you buy an RV now that won't have tariffs when you finally go to pick it up and pay the final check a couple of months from now. But heck, nobody wants to put a deposit down on an RV in one country only to find out it's coming across the border. And when it comes time to go buy it, there's this tariff attached to it, even though they had an agreed upon price. This is just the kind of complications people don't want. Most RVs sold in Canada are built in the US. Many of the biggest RV parts suppliers operate in both countries, and that means that certain brands are going to be more affected than others. So in the next few minutes, let's break down which brands might be the best bet for you based on which side of the border you're on. In a moment, I'm going to go through those brands that are exclusively from Canada and the biggest brands that are sold in Canada that come from the US. I want to identify those brands because A, if you're looking to get one, you might want to get one right now before more tariffs get put in place. B, who knows, the value of these might be going up if all of a sudden they're not available across the border, and that goes in both directions. So I will be going through a list of manufacturers in just a moment. This way you get a good idea of who's located on what side of the border and who's located on the other side of the border. Now, the RV Dealer Association of Canada and the Canadian RV Association report 95% of the products sold by Canadian RV dealers comes from the US. And with that $16.2 billion in sales adding to Canada's GDP, we might just see the government be a little loose on that particular tariff. We'll see if they're willing to listen to an industry that can't really source an alternative product. You can't start bringing in RVs from Europe. That's not going to work. But in the short term, there are people who are right now looking at buying an RV for this RVing season. They're putting down deposits. They're not sure which one to go with. And I don't care what side of the border on. If you're looking to take the least risky bet, in my opinion, it is sticking with a model that was made in your country. That's just the way it is. You're going to take less of a risk here if you're buying a Canadian product in Canada with Canadian dollars or an American product in America. It could all switch around. Now, in America, you're taking less of a risk because the dollar really favors you. And so if the price goes up, it's not going to hurt as much as if it comes in the other direction. But for American products up here in Canada, it's going to get real expensive real quick. And it doesn't matter where you feel politically. If one product is 30 or 40% more than the other, well, you're not going to buy it. You're going to go for the more affordable one. That's just the way we all are. Politics be damned. I got money to save. And before we look at the RV manufacturers, let's look at Lippert. Lippert is a company that manufactures components for the RV industry, as well as trailer, bus, marine, and heavy truck industries. If you've got an RV, you've certainly got Lippert products. If not, the majority of the frame is Lippert. They are the source of many of the products for many of the companies. They have facilities in the US, Canada, Ireland, Italy, and the UK. Lippert opened a factory up here in Lindsay, Ontario in Canada, which made it an international company. And then in April 2015, they bought another company based in Granby, Quebec. And they produce windows and doors for various vehicles, like school buses, commercial buses, and RVs. This has enhanced Lippert's ability to have manufacturing on both sides of the border. And many of these Canadian-made products are essential to Lippert's portfolio, such as axles, chassis, appliances, awnings, storage solutions, leveling systems, and stabilization equipment. They also have towing products, automotive products, and marine products. Now, in comparison to these few Canadian plants, Lippert has dozens of U.S. plants. Now, tariffs between the U.S. and Canada could really disrupt Lippert's internal supply chain and increase the production costs or availability, particularly given the company's reliance on cross-border trade with raw materials and finished goods. The tariffs may lead to higher prices for components, which could be passed on to consumers of recreational vehicles and trailers. Additionally, the company's Canadian operations, including its Lindsay facility, could face challenges trying to export those products back to the U.S., which is its largest market. And as a result, Lippert is going to have to reassess its entire supply chain strategy and explore local sourcing options or absorb additional costs to maintain competitiveness in this increasingly complex trade environment. The trade war is going to make it complicated for everybody. First, let me give you a list of the companies that are Canadian owned and Canadian operated. Again, if you're in the States, I would expect that keeping an eye on these models might be a good thing from a market perspective, because if this trade war heats up, those models are going to become less available in the States, and that should drive up their price. If you're in Canada and you're looking to buy exclusively Canadian, then you too might want to look at this list. We'll start with Northern Light in Kelowna, BC. Founded 24 years ago, they specialize in the high-quality, lightweight, four-season truck campers. They've gained a reputation for durability, premium craftsmanship, and excellent installation. Another big favorite is the Escape Trailers. They're actually really close to me here in Chilliwack, BC. They're known for their customizable fiberglass travel trailers. They're very lightweight, aerodynamic, very durable, very waterproof. They're very small. They're very similar to like a Scamp-style trailer. Pleasureway Industries in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Since 1986, they've been around. Pleasureway, I'm sure you've seen Pleasureway Class B motorhomes on the road, and these might become a rare item if these tariffs really grow and stay in place. Safari Condo is famous for their Alto series travel trailers. I got to see one of these not too long ago. The French family came out from Quebec in theirs, and it's very lightweight. It has this really huge sunroof. Up here, it's a lot more cold than warm, so I wouldn't want one in the desert. Great up here. Triple E Recreational Vehicles. They're founded in 1965. They started as a little travel trailer company. They produce Class C and luxury Class A motorhomes. Taylor Coach out of Ontario, a family-run business since 1967. Taylor Coach focuses on building lightweight, eco-friendly travel trailers. They make custom-built trailers tailored to individual customer needs, making them one of Canada's few truly bespoke RV manufacturers. If you're looking for a well-built, compact, and uniquely designed travel trailer, maybe Taylor Coach is for you. Crow Light in Saint Jerome, Quebec. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing that correctly because I don't pronounce French well at all. Crow Light's a Quebec-based RV manufacturer, and they have ultralight travel trailers. Some models can be pulled by a car. Very minimalist designs. General Coach in Canada out of Hensel, Ontario. It's a leading manufacturer of park model trailers, so more for the destination trailers and even some commercial units. And so that's a list of actually 8 of the leading manufacturers in Canada. Again, it's a much smaller market, and the outputs of these companies are much smaller than these massive U.S. companies I'm about to talk about. Now, with these U.S. companies, again, if you're in Canada, you might find that putting out a deposit on one of these and getting them in a few months might yield a tariff that you're not expecting. For those RVers in the US, heck, this list should seem pretty obvious and basic to you because these are the ones we see all over the US, and to be honest, these are the ones we see all over Canada too. And you'll notice that many of these are located in Elkhart, Indiana, which is really the heart of the RV industry for all of North America, and it's located in the United States. Forest River, founded back in 1996 in Elkhart, Indiana. It was founded by Peter Lagel with the vision of creating a better built RV. It's since grown into one of the largest RV manufacturers in North America, including toy haulers and park models like Rockwood, Salem, Wildwood, Cedar Creek. These are all, firmly U.S. brands. Thor Motor Coach, also out of Elkhart, Indiana, founded back in 2010. Thor Motor Coach is a division of Thor Industries. And today, Thor is the largest manufacturer of motorhomes in North America, offering everything from Class A to Class C to Super C models. Winnebago, which is synonymous with RVing, it was founded back in 1958 in Forest City, Iowa. It's one of the most iconic RV manufacturers in the world. They have a history of high-quality motorhomes, making travel more accessible. They produce the Class A, Class B, Class C motorhomes. Nowadays, they also have travel trailers, fifth wheels, under all kinds of brands like Mini, Voyage, and Micro Mini. In Canada, Winnebago is a really popular choice. But again, maybe not in the future. Jayco was founded in 1968, Middlebury, Indiana. Jayco is founded by Lloyd Bontrager. In fact, my Ember trailer comes from a company that's run by his granddaughter. Jayco offers a wide range of travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, and toy haulers. You might have seen the J-Flight, the White Hawk, the North Point. They're especially popular. Another old school classic RV that is synonymous with RVing in America, the Airstream, founded in 1931 in Jackson Center, Ohio. It is one of the oldest and most iconic brands in the United States and Canada. It's quite sought after for its premium quality, aerodynamic design, and luxury interior. You ever thought about buying an old Airstream and fixing it up? Well, you might want to look it up on the internet because they're actually quite the undertaking. But they are beautiful. Keystone RV, another one that's owned by Thor Industries. They were founded in 1996. They have models like the Cougar, Montana, Sprinter, and the Passport. Grand Design, which has been in the news lately because of some flaws in their frames, they were founded in 2012. They're now owned by Winnebago. Again, it was a company that started, in the 2000s, trying to do it new, trying to do it fresh. They certainly are a favorite in Canada and the US. Tiffin Motorhomes, those are those gorgeous, big, beautiful motorhomes you see out there. The Class A's are really what they're known for. They also have Class C's that are quite popular. The Allegro, the Wayfarer, you've seen these out there if you know about RVs. Coachman RVs, another all-American brand founded in 1964. Eventually, it too was acquired by Forest River. You're seeing a trend here. Nearly half these companies have all been purchased by the other half. Newmar goes back to 1968, and they're another one that's owned by Winnebago now. But these are all American RV companies that, up here in Canada, you might see less of them coming up if these tariffs continue. And if you're down in the States, you saw that list of Canadian ones. Those might be hot commodities. They might become rare. Who knows how this is going to work? So again, I know people think they've figured out my bent on this and which way I tilt. It's really funny. I tend to get comments of accusing me of being on both sides when I do these types of political third rail type of videos. But I don't mean to touch the third rail in the sense that I'm not trying to purport how you should feel about this politically. Go vote how you want, choose who you want, support who you want. I'm just trying to say pragmatically, if this is how things are, how are we going to deal with them? And, a trade war is a trade war. It doesn't matter how you paint it. Usually it costs people more money until it's over. That's why they call them trade wars. They're not trade picnics. They're trade wars. So let's just be glad it's only a trade war, right? Let's keep it in the pocketbook and off the battlefield. That's the way I see it. Thanks a lot, everyone. As a reminder, I am a dual citizen. I spent my first 40 years in the U.S., came up here to Canada. I go back and forth all the time. I love Americans and I love Canadians. And really, I just want to see us all get along, have a big hug down on the border, eat some poutine with some Texas barbecue, some good California Mexican food, some Florida seafood. That sounds like a party to me. Take care, my friends. Spend those dollars wisely, whether the Canadian dollars or U.S. dollars. Things are going to be weird for a little while. Does anybody know where I can get some eggs? Thanks for watching. See you later.